today I wanted to talk to you about fishing. All right, now we're going to get to our parable, but do you guys like to go fishing? Who's been fishing? Raise your hand if you've been fishing. Yeah? I loved to go fishing when I was a little girl, okay? So my grandpa would take me fishing, and we'd get out there and the river would be running beautifully, and it would just be a cool day and the sun would shine down and he would fish and I would play with the worms. This was my fishing experience. I would take the whole thing of worms and I would dump it like this. And then I would try to see what patterns I could make with the worms. Except for they were real worms, so they moved. These are gummy worms. I wish you were here and I could give them all to you to eat because I don't really want to eat them. But I wish you could have them all. But I would just make designs and play with the worms. Fishing has been around for so long, right? For a very, very, very long time. And it's a good thing to do. I hope some of you guys this summer can go out with your grandpas or your dads or your moms and just take some time to relax and fish. Well, getting to our parable, when Jesus decided he wanted to gather all his disciples, some of the first disciples that he went out to talk to were Simon and Andrew. And guess what their job was? They were fishermen. Now, he was going to go and he was going to gather the disciples. You guys remember what it means to be a disciple? Yeah? Who in your room right now is a disciple? Raise your hand. Yeah, me too. A disciple is someone who loves Jesus and wants to follow him and serve him, right? So he was gathering the first 12 disciples, but from there on, when he left, he knew that we needed to be ready to take on and continue to build disciples, to make disciples of all nations. But back here, this is when we're talking about the very first disciples. And so it says in Mark, it's Mark 1:16 and 17 and 18. One day, as Jesus was walking along the shore of the Sea of Galilee, go look up where that is, it's really cool. He saw Simon and his brother Andrew throwing a net into the water, for they fished for a living. So it wasn't just a hobby for them. That's what they did for a living. They were fishermen. Jesus called out to them, "Come follow me, and I'll show you how to fish for people." Can you believe it? And they left their nets and they followed him at once. Just what we should all do, right? If Jesus walks by and says, "Hey, TVC Kids, follow me," what you gonna do? I sure hope you'll follow him. But that's what they did. They threw down their nets and he said, "I'm gonna teach you how to fish for people." Now, why would it be important to fish for people? That's what our parable is gonna tell us. But I wanna talk to you first about a net. Now, when I went fishing with my grandpa, we would use a little pole, right? And then we would just hook on one worm or one little fly and we'd throw it out, just one fish at a time. What do you get when you throw out a net? So Isaiah made this little net for me to use. It's big enough for me, but the nets they would use would probably be 10 times this big, all right? A big, giant net. And guess what you would catch with a big, giant net? What do you think? Lots and lots and lots of fish. That's right. So they were going to use a net. That's how they knew to fish. So remember that when we get to the parable. This is why Jesus uses these examples. So the parable is called the parable of the net, and it's in Matthew 13. It starts with verse 47, and it says, "Again, the kingdom of heaven," so this is Jesus explaining this again to them, right? "The kingdom of heaven," place we all look forward to being someday, is like a large net thrown into the sea. And it collects every kind of fish. And it was full, they would drag it ashore. Not they would just pull it out. They would drag it ashore full of all kinds of fish. But they would sort them out and gather the good fish over here and the not so good fish over here. And this is how it will be in the end. So let me show you what he's teaching. Are you ready? Okay. I'm going to put that aside and pull out my slightly smaller net. So here's the net. Put our worms aside. Here's the net with all the fish we caught, right? Now, do you see some really good looking fish? Those are looking pretty good and whole, right? Those are looking pretty good. This one reminds me of flounder from Little Mermaid. Do you guys know that one? All right. But wait, there's a fish with no head and black all over him. And there's a fish head all by itself. And there's just a little piece of fish stuck to each other. All right, these fish are not looking so good, are they? Why would Jesus use this example of the fish that are healthy and strong and the fish that maybe weren't so healthy and strong? So let me sort them out just a little bit. I so wish you guys could have your hands right in this mess right now because it's just so much fun. All right, so we got our healthy looking strong fish over here, and we've got our not so strong fish looking over here. So let me show you what he means by this. Jesus says, I'm going to make you fishers of men. So what if these were men? What would we be talking about? And when he says men, fishers of men, you guys may know that song, I will make you fishers of men. Do you guys remember that from preschool? And it says, if you follow me. That's what this whole parable is about, following Jesus. So these healthy fish over here are representing healthy people, right? That's hopefully you and me because we're following Jesus. These kind of not so healthy fish over here, they're the ones who maybe don't know about Jesus yet. Did you know that in our city and in our state, there are people who really don't know about Jesus yet? So what are we going to do? All right, so we have this net. I was thinking about the net and I was going, you know what, the net, a lot of times people say the net's like the Bible, the Word of God. And I started thinking about the net and I thought the net is kind of like a big hug. The net is kind of like the truth being hugged around you. If you set this net out and you want to fish for people, you're going to hug them in, and you're going to bring them in, and then you're going to teach them about Jesus. There are, unfortunately, people in our town, in our city, in our country, in our world who haven't heard about Jesus. All right? So let me show you. I'm going to take you up to your journal pages and show you how we're going to do this, okay? There we go. So when you get your journal pages, you're going to get the first one. It says, the parable of the net. Jesus taught his disciples to be fishers of men. He wants all of us to gather people like the fisherman gathers fish and to share Jesus with them. And you've got your big net here, all right? And then down here, it says, the colorful fish represent people I know who love Jesus. And the white fish represent people I want to share Jesus with. All right, so here's what you're going to get. You're going to get a page here that's just fish. And at the top, it says people who love Jesus. And down here, people who need Jesus. And here, I did a few for you. I so wish I was with you because you guys are so much better artists than me. But what you're going to do is take your page, and then you're going to just glue stick on. Let's see, this one's Mr. Chris. There's music notes all over it. You know he loves music, right? I'm going to put that one. It's all colorful. Ooh, this is one's for Isaiah. It's all in blue because he just graduated from Belmont. I probably could have put guitars on there or coffee cups. Here's Bella. Hers is purple daisies because she loves those. I could have put books or dance shoes. Oh, there's my friend Suzanne. I put hearts all over her because she loves so well. Here's my friend Lee. I put lavender on her because she's from Oregon and she loves her lavender. She just tells me about the fields and fields of lavender. Wait, here's my friend Jenny. I put smiley faces all around hers because here's her 3 kids that she loves so much. But wait, who are all these other kids? That's you guys. She works and serves, and she's so good at making people feel happy. So those are some of the people that I know who are really strong Christians. So they're all decorated and fun, right? But then I've got these 3, and I didn't put the name on them, which you guys can, but just for the video, I didn't want to have the name on it. But here's the lady that I see running every day in my neighborhood. She just looks so sad all the time, and she's always by herself. So I've just been praying for this lady. I don't even know her name yet. And this is a little girl. I do know her name, but she comes by every day and she looks at my flowers, and I just want to pray and build a relationship with this little girl. And then there's the bicycling boy. He I know pretty well. He comes by. We stay distant, don't worry. But he comes by and he takes pictures of my flowers and we talk about stuff. And he actually is a drummer, so he's been talking to Mr. Chris too. So these people that are on the whitefish are people I'm going to build relationship with. And they're the people that I've been praying for. So that's how you kind of catch them in your net, right? And so I wanted to give you guys just a few things. Let me see if I can find my last paper. Just a few things that we can do that when we catch people, now we're not going to use a real net, right? No using a real net, but what we are going to use is something we know very, very well. It's called the fruit of the Spirit. All right? So, Jesus asked his disciples to be fishers of people. All of us who love Jesus and want to follow him are his disciples. So that's us. And he wants us to gather all the people in and teach them about him. All right, so I was thinking about the fruit of the Spirit. So how can we use that? So this is your journal page. And think about when you go into the red room with Isabella, if you're K1, or when you go in the black and white room with me, and we sit together and we talk and we give each other answers. That's what I want you guys to do as a family. All right? It's not about having to handwrite this all, moms and dads. Use this as a family guide and go through and think about how can I or how can my family gather people in just like that fishing net hug and tell them about Jesus. All right, so we're going to use the fruit of the Spirit. Name and tell how you could share love with someone. So come up with a name of someone and I could love them by fill in the blank. Name and tell how I could bring peace or joy to someone. There are plenty of people out there who need some joy, right? And a lot of people who just need to know that peace happens when you could rest in God. So I hope that you guys can share that with him. Keep going down the fruit of the Spirit. Who do I need to be more patient with? You know what? A lot of times we need to be patient with our siblings, but sometimes we need to be patient with ourselves. Do you know that we can't do everything right all the time? That's why Jesus came. Who needs you to be kind to them? And how can you do that? You guys are great at being kind. Think of somebody that you know needs just an extra little burst of kindness and write it down here. Then go ahead and do what you thought of. Who can you share the goodness of God with? Now that is an easy one because you could show, you're outside, you're playing. I have this because of the goodness of God. God made all of creation. God made the beautiful rainbows that we've been seeing with all this rainy weather, right? God made those cool clouds, those beautiful flowers grow. I wanted to give you one last personal kind of example. When Isabella and Isaiah were really little, and this happens especially when you have like your toddlers and 2s and 3s, right? Kids will see you, or parents will see you, and they'll say, oh, she's so pretty. Oh, he's so cute. Oh, she's so smart. Oh, well, it just got to be overwhelming. And I taught my kids, and Mr. Chris and I, and we sat and we thought about this a lot. And why are you guys pretty? Why are you smart? Why are you creative? Who gave that to you? It was God, right? It's God's goodness. And so what I taught Isabella and Isaiah, and I hope you guys will consider doing as well, is when someone says, you're so creative, say, yeah, thanks, God made me that way. And so I remember Isabella and Isaiah being teeny tiny ones. They'd say, you're so pretty, thanks, God made me that way. It's an easy way to share the great things that God has done in your life and to be thankful. And then this last one, who needs you to be gentle with them? There's a lot of people that are a little fragile right now, right? So how can we be gentle? And how can we use do you guys remember, self-control? It takes a lot of self-control to do any of these things. So that's the parable of the net. You're going to go out. I hope you're going to cast your net of fruit. All right, cast your net of the fruit of the Spirit. Go out there, love people, be kind to people. Let that be your net that pulls people in so that you can share Jesus with them. Can you guys do it? I know you can. I have faith that you guys are going to move in a strong way this week. So keep it up and let me know how you're doing. All right? I hope to see you guys soon. Love you whole bunches.